Okay, that sounds. I mean, you don't know if you're here or where you are, but sounds good. You said this is on the stream, so actually I can just go to your channel right now. Hold on.
Okay, check 1, 2, 3. Check. Nathan, you can turn off my stream so that the sound is only from Discord. I'm also speaking just to check into the stream for stream to have a sample. Okay, so speaking voice sounds like this. Wow, This is almost going above, so I should be even smaller
Hold
gain.
on, I think I hear you talking or see you talking, but I don't hear you. I don't have
Wait,
my headphones in.
you do not hear me talking through Discord?
No, I do now. I could see it because you light up when you talk in Discord, but I didn't have my headphones in.
Ah, okay, sure. Okay, yeah. No, sounds good. Okay. So check 1, 2. This is okay. This could be even a little quieter. Okay. I'm going to hear myself also a little later, but now... Okay, well, now it's spooky now because I hear myself like 3 seconds
I was
after.
just pulling up the stream.
Okay.
Is our respective sound like pretty even, or?
Yeah, so actually your piano sound is actually louder than you speak, which it should be, but you're only coming from Discord alone. So you probably need to turn up.
Saying that I should increase my.
You should increase your voice. Yeah, increase your voice. Okay, how about this amount of gain? How's this? This is also quieter, but I think no. But what really matters is I can hear you clearly, even though it's a little fainter than usual. But the most important part is on stream whether it sounds as I hear it, right? If it sounds also very quiet, then that's a problem.
Right. The stream, my voice on the stream, I thought was actually pretty loud.
Was pretty loud. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me go check it out right now. Just go somewhere else.
But my sound, the sound of my voice compared to the sound of your voice should be as close as possible to even.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is okay. I mean, this is I can hear you. Yeah. Okay, but okay. So now the issue here is Discord only takes one input as well. So if I happen to play anything, but all it needs is just to go on stream. No, sorry, but you need to hear it too. Okay, I just switch around then, because otherwise I'm talking my voice mic, but certainly the piano is from pencils. I'm giving up on the Shure because at the moment I have just way too many holes being plugged right now. So
wait, hold on. How are you listening to me?
Through Volt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So because I can plug in the headphone that came with Volt, and so that releases me from one output.
I see. Okay, so.
But all other sort of slots are plugged. The Shure is not being used, which I don't really mind at all. I mean, unless
does your computer have a?
Say again.
Does your computer have a mic?
My computer on itself has a mic. Yes. Awful.
Actually,
it's awful.
Just play something right now. No, just play something right now.
Play something right now.
The vocal mic.
Oh, even you want to see if the piano goes okay from the vocal mic.
Yeah, because it doesn't really matter so much what I hear, right? It matters what the stream hears. But if I can hear you well enough through the vocal mic, then who cares?
Okay, so let's try.
Okay, so I think you need to fix some settings.
Yeah.
Go to your voice settings in Discord. Do you have the studio audio on?
Sorry, say again.
Do you have studio audio under input profile? Do you have that setting checked?
Yeah, you're right. Because they always phase you in and out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. What should I have? I should have studio, pure audio, open mic with no processing.
That, yeah.
So I have it checked.
And then now try playing something. That's totally fine. I don't need anything more than that. That
Yeah,
works perfect.
so you don't actually need the pencils. I mean, even though the pencils are working for the stream, they don't have to work for you, right?
Correct.
Good,
I mean,
okay.
you can do this through software, by the way. Well, actually, I don't know how. There's definitely software where you can like combine multiple sound channels on your computer and make it like one device.
Yeah,
That is,
yeah. As in they, I know. I think it's some kind of a cable input or something. I think that's you can just, yeah, basically combine all your actual physical input sources into one, and then have Discord use that channel, right?
yeah. But we don't have to figure that out.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go hear myself on the in a different setting. So hold on for a sec. I mean, we got time here.
Okay, I'll keep playing.
Yeah, yeah. You
something
keep
then.
just keep playing. Yeah.
it time for you to go live? I can't hear you, but okay.
I think it was my mistake. I think you can hear me now.
No, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, because I'm just still getting used to this Wave XLR sort of a touch. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. So this is on. All right.
Are you live streaming now?
Yes. We're live. Yeah. Let's just be completely unprofessional about this whole setup while adjusting equipment on stream live. This happens. Okay, so 7:03, I think is a good time to start. Today, have the honor to have our first guest of the stream, who will be joining us from New York City. Let's give it up to Nathan No.
All right.
So
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you. So eventually we will create on-the-fly improvisational ringtone to welcome each guest. But then that will take some time. So certainly going to have to turn a lot of faces and stomachs before we succeed. And today, I think we'll be venturing some of the Chopin Nocturnes that wasn't in the previous few streams by myself. So Nathan, what do you feel like playing today?
Oh, well, admittedly, I haven't listened to every single one of the streams. So what holes do we have to
Okay,
fill in?
what holes do we have? Okay, so the holes are the ones that most people cannot sight read. So
I can't sight read them either.
Okay, so the ones that I've only gone through in using a score is the entirety of Opus 15, Opus 27 number 1, 32 1, and I think that's and 32 2. It's something that I actually cannot play, but 32 2 I managed to at least talk about the first half. Yeah, and then that's it. And then I gave up the moment when I hit 37, and then I learned that you have interest of playing Opus 37 as a set. So I think Opus 37 will be skipped, was skipped from my end. I tried 48-2 until I kind of find myself in a hole where I don't feel like reading anymore. That's a psychological effect mostly.
Right. And then is there anything 40, 48? Does it go to 62 after that, or?
48, and then it goes to 62. Actually, yes. So
you're 62. You've got 62 covered.
So I can do 62 1, and I can probably do 2 as well since I read it. So surprisingly, 62 2 is easier to read than some other nocturnes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So it sounds like there's a hole at 27 2, which I haven't played in a while, but maybe there's.
Yes, this is
there.
yeah.
But
so, Yeah, who knows that?
Probably you need to hear it together with 27. I think it's a set. 27
I
1, 27 2 are
I agree.
inharmonically related.
I agree. I agree. And it should play it in succession, not even with a long pause, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe as you will do it. But let's not give too much sort of information away. If 27 feels good
All right,
now,
let's start there. I have no idea. I haven't played it in a very long time.
no, this
Not
sounds
that
good.
I ever really.
This sounds good. So I'm going to make sure that all my input from my end is turned off, which is something that
Right.
everybody needs to know, right?
Yeah. Let's give this a shot then.
Wonderful stuff. How do you feel?
Hold on. Now I can hear you. Oh, it's been a while, but I think there's
Well,
I've had a lot of new ideas just by rethinking the hairpins as the new theory of hairpins.
yeah. I mean, sort of when you're being put on the spot to play, I mean, you're probably reading the score as well at the same time, right?
Yeah. It's been a while since I've touched these.
Yeah. So, and that's no short of. I'm gonna say that these two nocturnes sound like they're on one thread, and that sounded like it was on one thread as well.
Yeah. I agree. There's something very special about these two nocturnes together, right? You have one in C sharp, one in D flat. They just sound like they belong.
The maybe the first comment would be, or I guess sort of a starting point, since we are probably going to think about these two nocturnes in parallel. Now, maybe very classically speaking, that these are melodically a right-hand dominant, both work are right-hand dominant melodic work. I'm not saying that the left hand is all buried, they are just pure accompaniments, but actually my first comment is actually in fact on the left hand. Both pieces start on C sharp or D flat, right? But the pattern of the accompaniment certainly is written very differently. How do you feel? How do you feel about? Because I mean, I guess, and now if I recall properly, I actually didn't talk about the score for 27-1. So this is actually also, I would say, a great time for us to converge here. Okay. Yeah, I forgot whether I spoke about it, and now remember that I never did. But no, all I think is I mentioned that Opus 27 number 1, I found the opening left-hand pattern is quite lopsided. I'm gonna share now the
lopsided. This seems a lot more. In what sense, right? Because this seems a lot smoother to me than.
Right. I think my point is probably on the fact that every downbeat is not exactly the bass note. Because of this sort of, because you only hit actually your bass tonic, if you will. Actually, now this piece is actually in 4/4, right? It's in common time. So it's actually triplet plus triplet and then triplet plus triplet. It's something like that, right? Yeah. So hold on just for a bit. I'm gonna put up the score share and hopefully keeping all the audio capture stuff. Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Now the problem is, okay, the stream can still hear me, I think. Okay, great. So, let's see. Hey, fantastic. This is on, but accept my face. But my face is not important. Okay. Let's do this. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Wonderful. This is awesome. Okay, so For those who are just joining us, we are talking about Chopin Nocturne Opus 27. We're treating both works as it's a separate two units, but we want to hear them together. And we were just talking about how the two works differ in their left-hand accompaniment patterns. I started with saying that now both pieces starts by declaring their tonic, which is the C sharp or the D flat. Okay, so I can definitely tell my piano's out of tune also. This is a very easy check. It's okay. I think I'm gonna have to tune my piano because it sounds so much nicer with a piano that is actually in tune. But now, I will work on that every week. I said I'll work on it next week.
Your description says you're going to tune it next week. You've had that same description for, 6 weeks now?
Yes, so it will remain true 100% of the time or untrue 100% of the time. So this draws people in to check, to hope if the piano is tuned next day. But no, this is not true. This general sentiment is not true. But I guess the thing to... I guess my original observation was that even though both pieces starts on the same note, but then quickly the first nocturne develops into something what I call is lopsided, because you hear this pattern. Now, if I stress the first key or the first note or every downbeat, I don't know whether that can be heard or not, but I was trying to stress basically every quarter note, and they're actually playing this. It's almost like a funeral march, but it's not, right? You're in a boat somehow. Okay, sorry. This may not be in a boat. It's an interpretation. But compare this to how the second nocturne starts, which is... First of all, the piece is in 6/8 now. Let me show the score.
Right.
It's in 6/8.
Right, it's actually grounded. The root is actually grounded on the strong beat.
Yes. And this sort of up down pattern, it repeats, right? It repeats. But even within each configuration, you have some undulation, which is a large leap and then back, down, up. So I am almost having some kind of a flashback to the mathematical pattern of fractals, in the sense that this is a more miniature version, because this is actually, even in such a small span, this rippling effect, this is kind of a rippling effect, if I have to relate to water. But in the Opus 27 number 1, each phrase is only going up, down, so that's not a ripple anymore, that's a larger wave-like. So basically the wavelength is longer. And I think that, at least by face value, I think that is at least in terms of accompaniment, this is where the two nocturnes differ. And then we can certainly go into what kind of philosophical value they bring into the character of each nocturne. Now, both also share a common place, which is they open by just playing the left hand, as in sort of setting the scene. I think maybe the last time when I spoke about it, I was saying, hey, every Mozart aria needs some kind of an Alberti bass to start the aria, and then the singer starts, right? Now, this is no opera. even though the melody is very song-like, it's very singable, at least to me, because at least in 27 number 1, the notes are very close to each other. It makes the singer's life very easy.
Yeah, and it's not just the start either, right? Actually, importantly, you have parallels at the very end of both nocturnes, where, so in 27-1, you have this kind of soloed left hand,
Yes.
right, before a very luscious,
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah.
27-2, you also have that moment here, right, before the luscious.
This is this is actually a great sort of a structural find, because that's also this reinforces our sort of a proposition that these two works should be considered in parallel.
They're very much in parallel. I mean, the structures are the same, right? ABA with the coda. Right?
Yeah.
They literally start on the same note, and harmonically different, but the same. Right.
Yes.
And actually, does it?
Now, tempo-wise, both actually if I were to just look at the tempo marking on both score, at least in my Urtext copy, Opus 27 number 1 says Laghetto, and it's marked 42 per half note, so 84 per quarter note, which is actually decently fast, actually.
Pretty fast, yeah.
So this could probably hark back to my personal version, which is probably half the tempo. Now, Opus 27 number 2 is saying that this is 50 per quarter and a half, dotted quarter.
Dotted, yeah.
So this is, what is it? What will be the conversion then? This is, 6 beats per, right? So this is saying 3 beats, 50, okay. We're not, okay, so when we're listening to 27 number 2, we're not really counting in 6. Maybe when we're practicing, we're counting in 6. But truthfully, we're counting probably in 2, right?
Yes, you're definitely counting in 2.
We're probably counting.
As you are with many pieces that are not, the 27-1 is dark and brooding, right? You're maybe paying a little bit more attention to this unstable bass, or the lopsided bass, as you call it, right?
Yeah.
Here, 27-2 is supposed to be very beautiful, very sing-songy, right? Expressive, dolce. There's all this, bright markings on it, and a key that begs for this type of sound, right? D flat major is always supposed to be this, angelic.
Yes.
Angelic key.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, you're definitely thinking much longer lines.
The opening, I guess, sort of then coming back to the since we're considering both work together, when 27-1 ends, you start almost 27-2, at least in your head. Did the tempo feel? Is this actually a slowdown? Actually, for into 27-2, even just at face value, because 27-1 ends in a slower tempo, because it was we were advised to play adagio for the last sort of a coda line, right? The last ending line. Does that sort of help you build the proper tempo for 27-2?
It's an interesting proposition. I don't think that I'm certainly not counting the fermata at the end of 27-1.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing that I'm doing is listening to that sound decay
Yes.
and pinpointing my entry point around here.
Okay, so it's almost as if you just hit one final stone. You threw one final stone in the lake or something, and the moment that you find that okay, the last visible wave has disappeared, you probably start. You probably start 27-2, which
perhaps. Although in a concert hall, I can imagine that there might still be little echoes that are little reverbs that are still in the air.
Maybe also then that's also to the benefits of a concert hall where sort of different effects can be explored. But I guess the idea of waiting for the echo to leave or to dissipate, this is finding that invisible glue that you need to go on to 27-2. I don't think I heard. Yeah, go ahead.
To be clear, you don't need to, right? Just to do a really stupid. It's the same key, right? It's literally the same key. So it's not, you're not losing anything in doing a transition immediately. You can hold it, you can pedal through it. It sounds beautiful because it's
yes.
exactly in the tonic key.
So then I guess this is more than a enharmonic glue, because I mean, we can certainly end fortissimo and then still have the enharmonic glue. This could be then a continuation of your, I mean, I guess of your conception of the work, right? Of the two works, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so we made a point of saying that just a bare observation that one Opus 27 number 1, the left-hand accompaniment is a larger wavelength wave. And in Opus 27 number 2, it's a more, it's a rippling miniature version, but somehow it sounds, I mean, in my opinion, it sounds actually a little calmer, at least how it starts, maybe it's due to the major-minor tonality differences. Always everything sounds a little darker and sounds a little more menacing, especially in the C-sharp minor key. There are a lot of well-known C-sharp minor key pieces that starts very softly, not to mention Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. But of course, Moonlight Sonata doesn't start with right away of a confusion of C-sharp minor to C-sharp major, because that's exactly what Chopin did here. Is he starts with the right hand on, and then the next note is trying to confuse us. How is this sort of I mean, again, if we're trying to do this in parallel, what would be the first, for example, parallel position where you also find maybe in 027 number 2, even though it sounds very sort of harmonious to start, is there a pivotal moment in the start of the piece where you think, okay, this nocturne is not in sort of just a pretty face? So certainly I'm giving Opus 9 number 2 a lot of crap, because that's always the prototypical Chopin nocturne that I refer to, especially when it's sort of not expressing much. So I don't want to speak too negatively about it, but very clearly that Chopin has written many other works in the same genre that is more complex. So if I were to refer to a bass line of Pretty Faces, then I'm going to call Opus 9 number 2 is indeed a pretty face.
Right. And for our listeners, it's you know this one.
So it is quite. I guess the both compelling thing about it is, I mean, about Opus 9 number 2, and also almost of all nocturnes, at least Opus 27 nocturnes that we're speaking here, the amount of lines are long, but in Opus 9 number 2, I felt that there's not enough pauses, for example, but we see that very often in 27-1 here, that even though the lines are long, but you do have a moment where nothing is played in sort of in the melodic department. Chopin really...
Yes, although the 27-1 melody is quite a strange melody if you think of melodies as tunes to sing.
Yes.
It's inclusive of the dog toy squeaking.
Yes. This is the torment from that we explicitly felt when listening to 27-1. So you're right, because this is showing, I guess I can refer to my earlier phrase as in this is a, you can say tonality confusion, if you will, but anything that is chromatic like this, it is singable because the notes are right next to each other, but is it really a song, or is it just still painting a mood? And is also, in parallel, is 27 number 2 doing the same thing?
Yeah, well, although 27-2, of course, actually you can imagine yourself singing this kind of melody, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit more range to it, a little more expressive. There's more motion.
There's more motion. In fact, I think you just brought up what you just played, even just the first line, already informed us about sort of the patterns that you will hear in the next 4 minutes or 5 minutes of the piece. Is you could have a long leading first note, and then you have some dotted motion. If I were to share my screen again. But then, usually following the longer phrases or the longer held notes, you could follow up with a bit more syllables, such as... because the way that the next phrase starts is actually mimicking this motion. As in, you always have a pickup, and then you go, right? It's so even though you have a rest, or even though you have a long, basically, I mean, it's not rest right before it, but it's a blank. It's a blank space in terms of melodic development, but the glue between the phrases are tied together by these sort of by these gestures, right? By these gestures, and they appear very often later on, but in varied form, because Chopin doesn't want to play the same thing every time.
Yeah, and it's a great point about what he's doing to create melodic interest, right? You should also notice that in 27-1, the amount of embellishment is at a minimum.
Yeah. If we are comparing the two pieces just by looking at the pages, we obviously recognize that 27-2 is darker in terms of just more black.
27-1 is darker, yeah.
No, sorry. Tone quality, or the quote character is darker, but if we're just looking at the page, the page is painted with more black notes in 27.2, far darker, far denser than 27.1. 27.1, in fact, I don't know. Maybe it's just for me that I felt it's actually harder for me to carry out the melodic line in a convincing manner because I don't have enough material to work with.
Yes, it's truly every note counts. That's not necessarily always the case.
Which then makes every note very special. But yet you try not to make them each individually sound very special because then your phrases will be just single notes. We're not trying to, let's say, what's the word, Pogarelichize this part or late Pogarelichize this nocturne by really enunciating every syllable.
By the way, forms are different. I don't know what I was. I don't know what I was smoking when I said that. For some reason in my head, I'm just like, oh yeah, of course they're the same. I was thinking of 37.
Yes.
I should correct that, right? We have a ternary ABA form in 27.1. We have a rondo.
Yes, we have a rondo. Yeah, initially I resisted the temptation to sort of to give these problems to ChatGPT or some of the generative AIs, asking them to categorize it for me. So I did it myself first, and I didn't have a very good name for the, for example, for the Chopin Nocturnes like 27.2. So I actually also started by calling them a rondo. And then I found out that they have some kind of a more academic term for it, some kind of a composite binary form or something, in the sense that you have two body of stuff and they keep repeating themselves. So they even attribute Opus 9 number 2 also to a composite binary form, but. Now, if I say binary, you may be just thinking A, B, and that's it. But I think if we also say the word rondo, I guess it makes sense that it's basically saying that some material returns and it returns multiple times, not just twice.
There is a very specific, theory definition to it that is not the conditions of which are not satisfied here.
Right.
I agree with that. But it's a good enough shorthand.
I think lots of, in my opinion, nearly, and also the word nearly is important, but nearly all Chopin's nocturnes can be chopped down into ternary forms or rondo forms, only with the exception of some work that we'll likely both discuss in further detail later on, but that piece is Opus 15, number 3, in my opinion, that I think is a very unique form. But now, back to 27.1 and 2, now we have sort of identified the form, the ternary form, which is one. So basically, Chopin has showcased one of each in the set, composed in the same year. Now, certainly, I'm going to inject sort of a lot of sort of my personal take. I'm not very objective, but I still feel water themes, even though these are not explicitly said that these are barcarolles or these are composed on a boat. But Opus 27 is awfully close to Opus 28, the entire set of preludes, which were composed on the island of Majorca, which Chopin is often related to boats, either in the inland lakes or in the Mediterranean Sea. And also, I guess the only way of transport from southern France to Majorca is by boat. So I wonder if sort of this if this sort of time similarity can give rise to certain imaginations of boat or water-related interpretations.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look, You know, if you think about an upcoming nocturne, right? Oops, that's not the right key. Right? Is this really all that different?
Hey.
Right? In terms of its feel, right? We're speaking very generically here about the water theme, water feel. But what are we missing? We're missing the characteristic gondolier singing, thirds and sixths, right?
Yes.
We don't have that. Well, we kind of do. Maybe you're onto something.
I am onto now. Opus 27 number 2 here, even though it starts with single note melody, so usually representing one person, right? One person singing, or you can say one group of people, but the same range. But I mean, again, how it started. I think this is one person. But the piece quickly develops into, because probably Chopin just felt that, okay, this is kind of too lonely. I already just wrote a piece that sounded dark and pretty lonely, right? Pretty introvert. I should probably add a few more people here. And then you hear the... Okay, I missed here. But... and then you quickly have sixes instead of thirds earlier. And so Chopin developed this, and then the rest of the piece is mostly in chords, right? Unless you have a return of the opening material, which is back to the solo singing again. What's the word? Now, even if these are duets here, right, in thirds or sixes, if we're onto this sort of interpretation of the both, then maybe Opus 27 number 2 has a slight boat theme with actually people singing in unison, sorry, not in unison, but in third and sixth, but in the same tempo and in the same configuration. There's not there are places certainly where voices differ, but I think most places is you don't have a counterpoint of you don't have a staggered counterpoint of the melody. At least on the first page that I see, on the first page of the work that we see. Not true in general, but most of the places, the thirds and the sixes are in the same rhythm. But that's not the case in this very sparsely melodic lines of Opus 27 number 1. What we do find is even though you start also singing solo, you actually sing solo, I would say, most of the time. Even when you get to this point, basically, so I'm going to point out right here. So Chopin left a lot of blanks, and his pedal marking is incredible here, because he just says, oh, you know what, hold the pedal. Right? So you're still singing pretty much alone. The reason why I brought this up is that there's an octave, but I think that octave is actually almost a musical choice, as in something binded together. It's you can say it. Okay, there's no surprise there, but I think the moment that you play that, it's a surprise. Otherwise, Chopin doesn't have to write that. He doesn't have to write that octave. But all the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's extremely personal, it's extremely lonely. And only when you are adding the second voice later on the second page, where the main theme returns, we start to hear I don't know whether this is call and response. I don't know. I don't know whether this is that or not. But you start to hear a separation of okay, so interesting attempt to save it, but the point is, you hear two voices, and they're not the same as in Opus 27 number 2, where everything is in a chord. Actually, in a chord.
Right. You actually have two independent lines
Yes.
that are moving here.
I think I was juicing this for too long by not saying that these are independent lines. So, yes, then that, furthermore, that separates, I mean, we're not trying to be complicated here. This is just on the face, in just taking everything on face value, what is the same, or what is common, what is different. If you have a common theme of boat or water-related themes, then very clearly that Opus 727 number 1 gives you two divergent people. What's going on? This is, I think, Aria is probably voicing her disagreements with our discussions here. Okay, so Aria, we will take you to Mallorca one day to feel the difference between sea level boat rides and lake level boat rides. Okay, so I think she agrees now after she hears our plan. Okay. But I guess that's a stark difference. I think that's a stark difference between the two, but only after you hear them in sequence. You heard 27-1 first, where you hear things are clashing. You may not feel that they're clashing first, right? Overall, this is not loud, right? Even, I mean, up to the point that we're talking. Nothing is being sort of, even if you hear some discomfort, it seems that everything at least is, nothing maybe is fully resolved, but at least it's tabled, it's put somewhere. And what I meant by that is sort of how this first section ends in 27-1, is that you have another basically staggered independent voices where you actually went back to almost the opening where you say, okay, now everything quiets down. Let's say maybe the operetta, the aria, ended for temporarily. So this is like a shift in act or something, right? Like the drapes have to close first and then reopen again. Or maybe it's just the lights coming down. There is some detail here, which I would like to point out is, if you remember earlier, there was also a gap in our delivery where it's basically right before the large chord, the large octave. So it's right before this, you actually have blank, but with the held pedal. What I wanted to mention is that because Chopin gave very clear instructions on the pedal work, so this must be intentional. You would think that, okay, if you just listen to the left hand in the previous in the previous setup, you will hear with the pedal fully step down. Now my piano is a little bit out of tune, maybe more than a little bit, but the idea is that you have a lot of clashing. not played together like that, but they ring some discomfort because this minor ninth is a really uncomfortable, if you allow me. But it doesn't stab you by actually playing it together, but it's instead of one large needle, it is in waveform many small needles that is poking you. If you don't feel it, it's okay because he is going to make you hear it again by itself. So again, you have this clash, which certainly adds further to the brooding character of the piece.
Of course, now I have to draw the comparison to 27-2, right?
Fantastic.
Which is do those conditions still hold true? No, you may recall the ending of 27-2. There's a very interesting, very long pedal that is held.
Oh, yes.
So, starting from, well, okay, so this is a held note, so.
Let me.
Still held.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Almost up to the point where Chopin felt like, okay, I really have to change pedal here because I added a, B double flat here, so that if I really continue down this line, then it's gonna sound awful. I mean, at the same time, the notes are very closer to each other now, unlike before where you're absolutely an octave higher, right? So you're playing these grace notes that are very far away. So this is a fantastic parallel, sort of in terms of, I don't know how to put it. Maybe this is a technique, sort of trying to create. Now, in 27 number 1, it is discomfort that it was sort of producing, that it was invoking. But for 27 number 2 here, is it the same level of discomfort as if it's like 1,000 needles, but small ones?
No, in fact, it is exactly like what you would expect from the sound of, call it angels singing in a church, right? Very,
yes.
It's the sound bouncing off the walls and refusing.
Nathan, did I just lose you? Nathan, I think I just lost you.
Oh. Am I okay?
Yes. Now you're back.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I was comparing this to the sound of, maybe angels singing in the church, and there's just a lack of decay. The sound is continuously bouncing off of the walls, and it kind of just refuses to go away.
Yes, and this. So as in, there is a very large space, right, where sound is allowed to freely travel, and the observer is allowed to even hear them. So actually everything else is very quiet. You're only focusing on these sounds. Otherwise, you won't be able to even detect the decay if it is very, let's say, noisy around you.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good point, because you can still hear, right, with harmonics, right? It's not going to be as muddy, because you can still hear these top notes pretty clearly through the mess of what's underneath it.
Yeah.
Compared to when you're lower in the register, right? It's
Yes.
going to be swallowed by the harmonics.
In particular, actually, about this part, about this Opus 27 number 2 part, where you have a long pedal note. So I have it circled already on screen, but what it really I should probably mention is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, okay, this is a slow nocturne, and imagine 6 bars of no pedal change, indicated no pedal change. This is pretty extreme. And not to mention that what is being played in between, they have what we call a pedal note that is called D flat, which is the key of the piece. However, we're not necessarily in D flat at every chord because of what Nathan just played. They don't sound like they're in the same key, right? This is also, of course, a way to keep you grounded while something else is moving. So you then see the relative motion. But the overall vibe is very tranquil. There's little disturbances because but then it's the backdrop that allows you, it's the constant backdrop that allows you to explore these relative disturbances. And they sound particularly great. You probably don't even have to do anything special here, right? Even when you're playing. All you probably just have to care about is don't hit notes, let's say, too rashly or something, right? Yeah. I don't know how you manage to keep the 7 notes at the end completely even. Now, that's probably another time.
Yeah, it's a 7 against 6, which is always fun to play.
And note that both instructions says docesimo and diminuendo, so none of them says retardando.
Correct.
So
which I did play.
I know.
But only because I lost confidence in my my 7.
Your first set of 7 sound actually very good because they're almost in 7 against 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite it's quite a tough thing to play in the moment because the pedal is set here. You are holding the pedal for the rest of. If you fuck up, you're done.
Yeah, like imagine that you play all of these correctly and you just ended with. That works too, I think, right? That works very well too, but not in this world. Okay, so now we have made a point. So just to circle back, we made a point about maybe it's the same use of dissonance, but they serve different purposes because they're at different places in the work. In Opus 27 number 1, what I was saying is they are little needles poking at you because they're trying to prepare you for something that is even more dramatic. But in 27 number 2, this is towards the end of the piece, it actually almost wants you to have that calming effect, right? So now we're not touching bass on a lot of details, and it seems that I'm hitting my 8 p.m. mark already. So we have commented on a good number of similarities between the two pieces. We also found differences in, first of all, the left-hand accompaniment. Opus 27 number 1 is, in my opinion, a larger wave. So, well, sorry, not a larger wave, but longer wavelength. So you see the undulations, you need to really step back and see the undulations. But for Opus 27 number 2, the accompaniment itself is a ripple. So, and then not to mention that Opus 27 number 2 eventually develops into chords that is in thirds or sixes, which is very reminiscent of, let's say, in another work by Chopin, which is called Barcarolle, that has plenty of these thirds and sixes in a different boat rhythm, but in a very boat-like environment.
I just wanted to hit the sixths.
Yeah, this is infinitely appreciated because this is something that I never imagined that I can do. So Barcarolle, we will hear this very soon on the channel. But
very soon, like if you replace the 2025 with 2026, maybe.
Yes, well, very soon depends on scale as well, right? Is it a cosmic scale or is it Earth time scale? So we will see this very soon. We will hear this very soon. But 27 number 1, 27 number 2, we can associate them, or if it helps you think about it, you can associate it with a boat-like theme or boat-like environment. We haven't got to the sort of the more dramatic sections of Opus 27 number 1 and number 2, but we will certainly get to them tomorrow. And not to mention that Opus 27 number 1 also has a rather intriguing, I'm going to call it diversion from its usual ternary form, where ABA could just call it a day, but Chopin is such a revolutionary that he doesn't want to just really call it a day, as if it's a job or something. So we will return tomorrow to talk more and possibly finishing Opus 27 comparisons. These are two quite popular nocturnes in Chopin's nocturne literature, not to mention among all nocturne literature. And we look forward to see you here again to finish enjoying both pieces with us at the same time. Thank you. And today we thank Nathan again for showcasing, for playing these two nocturnes all together in one shot, and in fact put us on the same thread, put us on the same frequency to really appreciate both work at the same time. And tomorrow we will hear Nathan do this again, and soon Barcarolle. All right, so thanks very much.